Tariffs, essentially taxes on imported goods, were a cornerstone of the federal government's revenue stream throughout the 19th century. While ostensibly a fiscal tool, tariffs also served as protectionist instruments, heavily favoring northern manufacturing interests. This protection came at a cost, however, especially to southern agricultural exporters who found themselves burdened by increased expenses. Moreover, the tariff system became entangled with corruption and favoritism, often privileging certain industries over others. Although tariffs played a role in the early legal and constitutional theories that underpinned secessionist arguments, they remained secondary in national political debate compared to the far more dominant issue of slavery. Still, Congress engaged with tariff issues consistently, from its inaugural session in 1789 all the way through to the Secession Winter of 1860 to 61. The final major antebellum confrontation over tariffs came with the Morrill Tariff of 1861. This legislation went on to shape American trade policy for the following half-century. After the War of 1812, Henry Clay introduced the concept of the American system, advocating for a self-sufficient national economy. This plan relied on high tariffs to shield American industries from European competitors while channeling federal funds into infrastructure, roads, canals, ports, and later, railways, aimed at reducing dependency on transatlantic commerce. The tariff policies of the 1820s reflected this vision, with substantial hikes in 1824 and again in 1828. The latter, dubbed the Tariff of Abominations by Southern critics, intensified regional economic tensions. James K. Polk, elected on a platform of tariff reform, implemented moderate reductions in 1846 and established a standardized ad valorem system that assessed duties based on a percentage of a product's value rather than arbitrary fixed fees. These adjustments were deepened in 1857 through another round of rate cuts. However, the financial panic that year resulted in plummeting federal income, pushing lawmakers once again toward higher tariffs. Legislative work on the Morrill Tariff began in 1859.
Legislative work on the Morrill Tariff began in 1859. At the time, the 36th Congress was deadlocked, with no party holding a clear majority. Fierce debates split Republicans, who supported higher tariffs, and Democrats, who opposed them, culminating in 44 ballots just to elect a House Speaker. Early in 1860, the House managed to pass the Morrill Tariff, which not only raised rates but also abandoned the ad valorem system in favor of specific duties. The vote was largely along sectional lines, pitting the industrial North against the agricultural South. Although the Senate initially stalled the bill, it gained new momentum in December 1860. With Southern representatives leaving Congress amid secession, the path cleared for the tariff's passage. President James Buchanan signed it into law in March 1861. The Morrill Tariff was met with disdain in Britain, where free trade was broadly embraced. Its implementation damaged Union diplomacy, alienating a potential ally just as the Civil War was beginning. Confederate leaders exploited this to bolster their case for British support, though the argument lost steam after the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation, which shifted British sympathy toward the Union cause. In retrospect, the Morrill Tariff proved a diplomatic misstep. While it may have offered short-term advantages to select northern businesses, it came at the cost of international goodwill, particularly from Britain, a natural partner in the anti-slavery cause. Confederate use of the tariff issue, although ultimately ineffective in gaining recognition, elevated its importance in Southern memory. Over time, it became a symbolic grievance in lost cause narratives, downplaying slavery while emphasizing economic injustice. Whereas antebellum politics witnessed swings between high protectionism and lower duties, the Civil War marked a turning point. The North's industrial elite, beneficiaries of protective tariffs, entrenched their influence during and after the war. Meanwhile, traditional free trade voices from the South and the agrarian West remained sidelined until reforms under Woodrow Wilson. From 1861 onward, the tariff dominated U.S. economic debate, retaining its prominence until just before World War I.